Okay, I feel like on take 47 and putting up a sign. I don't videotape stuff very much, and this is my first one for YouTube. And this is a new camera for that. Okay, this is on the Great Northern Camp Stove. I've had this one probably, I don't know, 10 months to a year. And I had looked on YouTube at all the mods to do before I purchased it, and then have done a lot of those. And there's still a few more I want to do. I'm going to start from top to bottom. Top the spark arrestor. There was a fellow on YouTube that had asked me to tape this, and I cannot recall his name. I should have written it down, and I'll post this on his site as well as mine. I cut that grating out of there because it just was it just inhibited the flow of the smoke, and it was horrible. But what he had, maybe I already said this, but he had talked about what he'd done on his is taken some industrial strength screen and wrapped it around here, and then that would inhibit the sparks or arrest them. And I think that's a very important thing. I also put a damper on this. I don't know why the company did not do that in the first place. This rod was just something I had around the house, piece of scrap. I don't know the size. I'm not good with that stuff, but there's a disc inside here that is the damper. When this is down like this, the weight of this holds it at a 45-degree angle. The reason why I did that is so if we were sleeping and there's a fire and this accidentally closes, it falls down, it's not going to close off the fire, and then we potentially get smoke filling our tent. I've got this coat hanger. It just was something I had to do, or this piece, and what that does is that then takes that disc and holds it up at a straight up and down. I'll try to show it to you. It's pretty bright out here, but there it is, and it's hard for me to see in the camera. There it is, and then let me pull that out. And maybe you can see the disc now. How I got that is I had wanted, I think this comes with 4 pieces of pipe. I wanted 2 more, so I went to a muffler shop and was going to get 2 additional pieces. I wanted this taller. We have a 12 by 14 canvas wall tent we want to use this in. You need the top of your chimney at least 6 inches above the peak of your tent, so you don't get the sparks landing all over your canvas tent. Where I got that from is when I was in the muffler shop to get those 2 additional pieces. The muffler shop technician guy accidentally squished this one, and he made me the other one for free. So I cut a section off about 4 inches with my Sawzall, then cut down the center of that, opened it up and pounded it down, then took a piece of this pipe, laid it on top of that flat piece of metal, and traced around it with a black and indelible ink marker, then cut that out with my Sawzall. Got a friend who owns a shop that had belt sander, so I took that in and kept twisting it on the belt sander until it would fit down inside the bottom part. Now the damper I only put this far down from the top. I had to take this rod and take my Dremel tool. They have these discs that you can cut stuff with, and I cut down, when this was straight down the middle, down the center, all the way through until that disc would fit down in there. Put it up here, put this in, and then I was able to put the disc down with a pair of pliers in that slot and take a punch on the top of that disc, take a hammer and punch it down until I was able to move this freely around without it getting stuck. I did take the whole thing, and the same buddy of mine that has a shop, there's the other section, I laid it down over there, has a shop, also has a sandblaster, sandblasted the whole thing, bought some of that high-tip black paint for barbecues at Walmart. It took 3 cans to do everything. They have a sale going on, or a special, where they have a can that has a 4th more in it. I think it was $3.44. Pretty good deal. I mean, this whole thing took me a few days to do. The handle I wrapped, if you can see that, I wrapped some coat hanger around it to help it, seal the door, because it was so freaking loose. I'm going to probably do something else. Again, mods I've seen on YouTube. Another one I saw was some guy had cut down a section here, but there was a flat piece on his. Maybe it was from a different company. I cut too much, but it doesn't seem to impact it. All I have to do is close the vent a little more. I did find a section of metal I can use to put in there as a grate, which works awesome to lift that firewood up off the ground. You get the airflow under there, your fires are. I have this patio wood stove we use just for recreation. I put sand at the bottom of it so it doesn't, the heat does not burn out the heat, the coals, all that doesn't burn the bottom out. I'm going to do the same with this. Our canvas tent we had set up in early March. I live in the Northwest. It was pretty cold up here. It heated up nice. The tent has like a 6-inch diameter hole. This fits in the middle of that, kind of floats around. I took some concrete board, cut it out, cut a circle, made it oblong because it's going to be at an angle. This sits in there and then settles down into the area on the roof of the tent, so this will not touch around the hole, which there's a rubber seal. I just don't want it to mess with it if it doesn't work. But it seemed to work well. I haven't had it out when it was real cold or any of that, but I think it'll work. And it's pretty cool. So if you have the ability to do all that stuff and have tools or people who have, you know, if you have access to that stuff, you can make these things work pretty good. I've not cooked on the top of it yet. I'm going to do that to see how it works, maybe tonight, and maybe I'll post a video with that. All right,